tonight. When it matters most, just put the basketball in Chris Middleton's hands and carry the hell on.
Carry on. Tell Stephen A. and Max to keep a cool booty while I address this situation, all right?
No, Max, that's Max.
Stop, just stop. What Max telling me?
Stop it, Max. Stop it.
What, Max?
What are you talking about?
Calm down.
Hold it L. Hold it L.
He better knock him down. He's a professional.
Bro, put some respect on that man's name.
We lost our mind debating with you.
Yeah, you lost, all right. They want all this smoke. Carry on.
Here he is. And Perk, I just want you to know, that was great TV on Get Up this morning, and you're now talking to your favorite member of the Rose family, so don't worry. Perk, you pick it up for us. What you got? It's time to carry on.
Well, Molly, I've been waiting on this moment all series long, right? For game 4, like last night, when it comes down to a possession-by-possession game, when it matters the most, who you put your money on? Money-making Middleton, the Batman, the closer, the guy that's going to get you those buckets, the guy that embraces that moment. And the world knows it. Giannis knows it. Stephen A. knows it. And Max knows it, right? And here it is. This is when you know you're a Batman. The movie Batman, right? You look at them, they try to capture the villain, they try to catch the villain. The police department do everything that they possibly can, but who they call on to come save the day? They call on money-making Middleton, the Batman of this team. But I will show Giannis some respect. I'm not going to call him a Robin. I'm going to call him a Superman. I'm going to call Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm going to call them Justice League, okay? Because Giannis got a historical block last night. So I'm not going to disrespect him, but when it matters the most, put your money on money-making Middleton. Carry the hell on.
Well, I'm not sold. I'm not sold in that regard. And let me say this. One of the things that I will refrain from is calling anybody Robin, and I know you didn't do that because I remember how I think that still haunts Pippen to this very day. I think that's why we see some of the stuff we see from Pippen, because Pippen is an all-time great, and he doesn't feel he's nearly as appreciated as he should be. And I think that when you look at The Last Dance, which Pippen himself told me he called the Jordan documentary, I think he was taken aback and felt a bit offended by that and what have you. You look at the days of McHale with Bird and Dumars with Isaiah and stuff like that. We never started using Robin and stuff like that until Pippen came along with MJ. So I refrain from saying that about them, and I think we all should. But I will tell you, getting back to Middleton, KP, where I disagree with you. Not his skill set. I totally agree with Kendrick Perkins about Chris Middleton's skill set. I just don't think you can trust him. I don't think he's consistent enough. I'll give you a perfect example. I just called up his game log. Let me explain, KP. I just called up his game log. So he'll drop 38 points against Brooklyn, a 25-point game, a 38-point game, and then a couple of games later, he drops 15 and 15 against Atlanta. 15 points one game, 15 points another. He'll drop 38 against Atlanta, all right, and then turn around and drop 16 the next game. This series, he dropped 29 at Phoenix. The very next game, he had 11. What I've called Middleton is a roller coaster. Like, I'm not questioning his skill set at all. He's got an NBA body, NBA size. His mid-range game is superb. We know that when it's time to close, he's capable of doing so. He's somebody, I want the ball in his hands. I know he can hit free throws. He's got all the skills. My only issue with Middleton is consistency, nothing else. It's the fact that one game, he'll play lights out. Like KP, we're sitting here today right now, Kendrick, right? And we're talking about Middleton because of that performance he dropped last night. I'm willing to bet you he'll turn around and score like 16 or 17 the next game.
Know why?
And then he'll come back to Milwaukee and drop 35 or 36. This is what he does. It's up and down, up and down. That's my only issue with Middleton, nothing else. Right. The skill is superb. Everything you said about his game is right. But I want a level of consistency before I'm going to sit up there and give that man kind of props.
That's exactly right. That man can't see the bat signal up in the sky and then say, we're on the road today. I'm not going to answer that call. That man got to answer that call every time.
The bat signal.
Chris Middleton is Batman when he's in the Batcave, but take him to the Joker's lair or wherever Catwoman or the Riddler are hanging out, all of a sudden, he's back to Bruce Wayne. He's got to stay Batman to call him Batman, Perk. The dude goes away too often. And if he didn't, if he put up numbers and did things like he did last night more consistently, he'd be an all-star every year. He'd be a genuine star or a superstar, not a dude who sometimes
I must interject
shows up.
for 1 second, Max, to give you your props. I mean, I didn't know you knew Batman like that. The Joker, and I'm surprised you didn't bring up the Penguin. But I mean, it was all good, Max. I mean, I got to give you credit where credit is due.
Like the old Adam West Batman.
That's right.
Egghead.
No, Kendrick Perkins wouldn't know anything about that. We too old for you, Kendrick Perkins, with that whole Adam West Batman when he did the Bat Dance. The Batman did the Bat Dance.
The Bat Dance.
That was hilarious. But go ahead. That's
right. Finally, you gave at least Giannis some respect calling him Superman, because that's right too. You want to call Chris Middleton Batman? You better call Giannis Superman.
Well, look. Let me tell y'all why I disagree at this moment, okay? And playoffs is about what? Mismatches, and adjustments, okay? And you make adjustments throughout the course of a series. Take you back to Game 3. Giannis had it going. If you go back and watch the tape, Chris Middleton kept feeding Giannis. They couldn't stop him in the paint. Why would you go away from that? The Bucks dominated in great fashion. You move on to Game 4. What did the Phoenix Suns do? They adjusted. They walled off Giannis. They doubled him on the low block. So now what? He needs his Batman to step up to the plate, Chris Middleton. And not only did he step up to the plate when it mattered the most, he dropped a 40-piece. He outscored the Phoenix Suns under the last 2:30 of the game by himself, 10-4. And you want me to throw you out a crazy number out there right now? Look, in the last 25 years, in the fourth quarter, with go-ahead baskets and game-time baskets, it's only 2 people that's up there with 15 of those. It's LeBron James and Chris Middleton. So what I'm saying is, when it matters the most, like Game 6 and Game 7 against the Nets, Game 5 and Game 6 against the Hawks, last night in a must-win situation, because you got to get it done in Milwaukee. Otherwise, you lose this game. You lose in Phoenix in Game 5. Chris Middleton delivers in great fashion. And Giannis knew that. Giannis knows that.
Hold on.
Did y'all listen to Giannis post-game interview?
Well, first of all, KP, don't weaken your argument by bringing up what Giannis said, because there's been plenty of times that you've heard players say stuff and you weren't buying it. You've watched what they've said and you said, hell no, I don't give a damn what they said. You've been on the air saying that. And then you say carry on. All right, you're buying this one. But here's what I'm saying to you. Let's think about this and let's compartmentalize this. When we talk about a guy, why wouldn't Giannis rely on him? Again, his Middleton's mid-range game is superb, and he's reliable from the free throw line. Giannis is not reliable from the perimeter, and he's not reliable from the free throw line. He's reliable 5 feet, and then he's reliable in an open court. He's reliable as a playmaker because he's setting dudes up. And let's not forget Pat Connaughton and the big shots he made last night. Not just the 3, but also the putback off a miss. Pat Connaughton showed up last night, played well as well. But in the end, what I'm saying to you is this. We're not questioning Middleton in terms of what Middleton brings to the table. All we're questioning is the consistency. We loved and revered Kobe. Why? Shaq fouls out against Indiana, and Kobe's like, big fella, I got this. Don't you worry about a thing.
It's not fair to compare Middleton to Kobe.
Don't you bring that up with Mrs. Rose on this TV. Don't you bring that up, because her husband caught some of that moment. You know Jalen Rose caught some of that Kobe Bryant in that.
He did in the playoffs.
Jalen's got a lot of wins in his life. I mean, the number one is right here.
He's right about that.
You tell him.
He's right about that. He's damn right. Damn right. He damn sure won. Don't question.
Here's the bottom line about Giannis, okay? When you bring up Middleton, Stephen A brings up consistency. Stephen A's right. The difference is this. Middleton shows up here. Middleton shows up there. Giannis went for 26, 14, 8, 3 with 2 blocks. One of them the best I've ever seen, practically. Listen to these numbers. Tell me when you see a soft 15-point Middleton-type game. 41 and 13, 42 and 12, 33, 9 and 11, 25, 9 and 6, 34 and 12, 40 and 13, 30 and 17, 34 and 12. It goes on. 34 and 12, 33 and 14. Every single. You know when Giannis shows up? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day.
Max, and listen, I'm not disagreeing with that, okay? And that's why I said I'm gonna call them the Justice League. But I'm gonna go back to another point that was brought up on this show. When you look at Russell Westbrook, a walking triple-double, okay? A guy that we know could get those numbers in his sleep. It's the same type of thing when it comes down to Giannis. We know what Giannis is capable of doing. He's so dominant. We know he could put up those numbers. All I'm saying is this, Max and Stephen A., when it matters the most. This was the first game in this series that the lead was changing. It was a tie game. It was a back and forth, a possession by possession. And when it mattered, who stepped up?
KP.
Who had the ball in his hands? A guy that shoots 50, 40, 90.
Time out. I can't let you get away with that because it's you, KP, and you're very, very big on accountability, bro. That's why I love you. The point of the matter is there have been too many nights Middleton has been inconsistent. Again, no question in his skill. If you're talking about his skill and that's all you're talking about, I'm with you. But we're talking about delivering the goods in key moments. And what I'm saying to you is that's not always him. Max started to show accurately, I might add, by pointing out, okay, can Middleton do this on the road? You're still having questions about Middleton. You came into this series talking about what he's capable of doing, but you needed a level of consistency when you was on SportsCenter with your boy. And all I'm saying to you is that that's the question about Middleton, not his skill. But what you gonna do now that the series is tied 2-2 and you going back to Phoenix? What you gonna do if a Game 7 shows up and you got to show up? Now, in fairness to him, he did show up on the road against Atlanta.
He did.
That is
Couple
true.
times, actually.
That is true. And I'm not questioning the skill set at all.
But
I'm just saying, what you gonna give me? Can I rely on you to give it to me night in, night out? In the best of three, Kendrick Perkins, in the best of three. Can I rely on you to do it the next 3 games?
You're focusing on scoring, particularly at the end of games. That's usually not the big. That's usually his wing help, right? That's usually the main support to the big. Shaq had to rely on Kobe. Kareem had to rely on Magic and later Worthy, right? That's what happens with bigs. They need a crime partner who can create his own shot at the end of games. Why are we only focusing on the offense when Giannis gives you rebounding, defense at historical levels when you need it most? That's also part of the game and part of being clutch.
Well, let me correct you real quick, Mr. Kellerman. If I recall, when we go back to that Brooklyn Nets series in that Game 7, when KD was going off, he fouled and PJ Tucker fouled out. Giannis didn't go guard Kevin Durant. It was Chris Middleton that went guarded Kevin Durant. It was Chris Middleton that was getting those timely buckets. When Giannis went out, did you not see Chris Middleton's stat line? He almost notched a triple-double. I believe he had 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. And when we look at this series alone, we could really only point out Chris Middleton only really had one bad game, and that was Game 2. He dropped 29 in Game 1. In Game 3, he deferred to Giannis because they couldn't guard him down low because Ayton got him foul trouble. And then in Game 3, he completely dominated with a 40-point.
How many bad games has Giannis had?
Game that
on a hyperextended knee.
Look, we could say Giannis is 3 for 3, but we could say Chris Middleton is 2 for 3.
What's
so
more,
that's not
2 or 3? My
all.
math is rusty. Are we in base
I'm not getting into the comparisons. That doesn't mean anything to me right now. We know it's Giannis's team, but Middleton is being paid $180 million for a reason, and giving credit where credit is due. Chris Middleton has earned his money, no question. But he showed that he's worth the $180 million.
No, he's got to keep doing it. Not yet.
No. He showed that he's earned it already. He said now he's got to. You could elevate his play with other dudes getting $200+ million, but the bottom line, he showed that he's worth the money. All I'm saying, KP, is this: it's his time to close, and I'm looking at him from that perspective. And I'm just saying that you got to deliver those goods too before you're going to call him like Batman and all of that. You got to do that.
Drew Holiday could hit a few shots too. That wouldn't hurt.
Well, he's preoccupied defending.
He's doing a great job.
CP3. And by the way, in Game 3, Middleton, that game was there to be had if Middleton had played better offensively. He only shot like 6 of 6.